start with Aaron Judge this week. Aaron Judge is doing things that we haven't seen in a long, long time. When you see what Judge is doing, what comes to mind for you? You've faced the Bonzes of the world, the Sammy Sosa when they were in the midst of their home run streaks. What does what Aaron Judge is doing remind you of?
You know, it really doesn't remind me of anything because I can't remember the separation between the home run leader and the next guy. So he really has dwarfed the stadiums, if you will, and separated himself in a way that I don't know statistically when's the last time there's been 20 plus home run difference between the leader and the second place and really the rest of the league. So I think for Aaron Judge, he's proven that he's healthy. I think the Yankees have done a better job of not giving him so many off days just because, right? I think sometimes in baseball, when you have this preset scenario where you're going to give guys the ability to get off their feet, what if they're hot? What if they're going through a great stretch? And the fact that they've been better with him, meaning he's playing a lot, he's in a good place, he's staying healthy, he's in a groove. Don't take a guy out of the lineup unless he's injured. Yeah. And I think he really separated himself from the rest of the league. And I think you can make the argument now, he's really put himself in the really, I think, a heavy favorite for the MVP.
Does he personally remind you of anybody back from the era in which you played?
I think he's a combination of Albert Pujols and Dave Winfield. We don't see too many 6'8" players, and I think Dave Winfield and his size is what I'd morph it with Albert Pujols. When Aaron Judge has eliminated the windows of opportunity for pitchers to get him out, that is put him in an elite category. Before there was too many places you could get him out. And now he's eliminated. Maybe there's only one place you could get him out, that down and away when he's got to reach at 6'8". You know, he's a byproduct now of a lot of hard work, I'm sure, and dedication to recognizing pitches and staying off the ones he cannot hit.
On the pitching side of things, John, I feel like we haven't been talking about this enough, and it just slid under the radar. Spencer Strider, the fastest pitcher in history to 200 strikeouts in a season, topping Randy Johnson's record. Unbelievable there. So along those same lines, how has he done this? And does Spencer Strider remind you of anybody from when you played?
Yeah, first and foremost, I give him a lot of credit for what he's been able to do. Come back from Tommy John. He hasn't had any history of innings pitched, and they're not really talking about it, which I think is the mental side, which is great. And he's in an era where it's easier to strike out guys philosophically because of the style of hitting. But you still got to go do it. You still have to throw the pitches that he throws. Right. He has a unique release point. They can't pick up the fastball. He's got great force spin on that fastball, which makes the perception to the hitter that it's actually harder than it is. And I think, again, a guy that is staying healthy, he knows his body, he does exercise, tremendous lower half. And he's kind of a little bit, not the same as a Tom Seaver drop and drive, but he's got that Nolan Ryan lower half, and he's really figured out how to deliver the pitch with the maximum effort without exhausting his upper body. He's using his whole body to kind of wear the stress, if you will, as the ball comes off the fingertips. So he's very unique. He's got that side straddle kind of delivery, but I just like the approach the Braves have taken and just the approach he's taken. Really a two-pitch pitcher. So, you know, when he develops a third pitch, who knows what he's capable of doing. And I just like the fact that he is not bothered or no one's talked about the innings load that he's had on his young career.
Yeah, I love that as well. So does Strider, when you watch Strider pitch, does he remind you of anybody?
Well, you know, I think it's hard to say that his mechanics are similar to Tom Seaver. They're not. But when I think of a smaller drive guy, I think it's closer to Tom Seaver when he gets that extension off the mound. He's one of the highest extension, meaning the release point's close to 7 feet. And he's not that big, right? Randy Johnson's 6'10", and his release point would be a little bit longer just by his height. But as a smaller guy, he gets downhill and he gets the ball to home plate about as good as anybody. So, you know, his mechanics are unique, and they're unique to him. And I think that's what makes it difficult to have a true comp.
When you would have said in April that the Braves are going to be knocking on the door of 100 wins and one of the best teams in the National League, and a big reason for that is going to be Spencer Strider, people would have probably said, what are you talking about? But I do feel like the Braves are in a position where they are right now, and a big part is because of what he has done. They were not playing great until he and Michael Harris got called up. So I think what Spencer Strider has done this year not only is worthy of a Rookie of the Year award, but I think he's a big reason they're here right now.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, when you talk about the Charlie Morton coming back from injury, started off slow. The Braves started off slow, and they were really behind the eight ball, 11 games back. It's been their pitching that they can match up with everybody. They have the perfect scenario moving forward. Now, the only thing I would be concerned about, and I'm going to break my own little kind of like glad no one's talking about the innings, is if they don't win the division, how they handle their staff moving forward in trying to win 4 playoff series to get to the World Series and win it all. So that'll be a unique strategy that I'm sure Brian Snitker will have ready to go if and when they are in that position.
John, I know you have a lot of great stories from your days playing baseball, obviously, but you're also a great golfer. You've golfed with and you know Tiger Woods well. But what I want to ask you about is a time years ago you actually pitched to Tiger Woods, threw him some BP. How did this process go down? What is the story of you pitching to Tiger Woods?
Yeah, so we were playing a bunch of round of golfs, and he mentioned about trying to bat against me one day, and I was like, man, I don't know about that. It's not that I'm worried about hitting you. I'm worried about you jamming, your thumbs and golf. That would be bad. And I said, actually, I'm pitching a sim game in the stadium. There won't be anybody there. Team's on the road. You could suit up and you could be one of the hitters. And he was, I'm all in. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I'm all in. So he showed up. He took batting practice, put on the Braves uniform, and he stood in there for about 4 or 5 at bats. And he told me, and this is the competitor in Tiger Woods, he goes, do not lay off of any pitch. I want to see everything you've got in game speed and game ready. And I went, all right. I mean, the equivalent would be me trying to win the Masters in my first ever start. It's never going to happen. And the ability of his athleticism and his grit and determination, just people don't understand how hard it is to hit a baseball. Just like people don't understand how hard it is to hit a golf ball perfectly straight under the pressure of what these guys do. So he went up there, and after the first couple of bats, I knew it was going to be a little bit of a struggle. And then about the 4th at bat, I tried putting one, laying it in there. He hit a ground ball up the middle that he declared a hit. So he declared himself 1 for 4 with a walk and a hit. And he found, he asked me later if I was laying a couple in there. And I said, yeah, he got mad at me. He's like, I told you I didn't want that to happen. But it was a fun deal. It'll be a memory of a lifetime. Of course, he's got, all decked up in the Braves uniform. And that was the time of our lives there, being able to do something that I was preparing to do. And it gave him a perspective of being in the batter's box, seeing a 90-mile-an-hour slider and a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, because I was trying to get ready for the season.
So there's a lot of baseball players that like to play golf, and it translates okay. Like there's a lot of baseball players that can be good golfers, and then you look at players from other sports trying to play baseball or trying to golf. It's not always great, but you don't often see golfers step in the box where you can really see their swing. So Tiger Woods, the greatest, one of the 2 greatest golfers of all time. What's his baseball swing actually like?
It was pretty good. It really was. When you think about, I am some golf teachers teach a baseball swing and a golf swing at a different plane. If you think about swinging the bat through the zone and the way that guys are trying to hit today, it's similar to hitting a golf ball that's not moving. And you have to have your timing right, and you have to have the ability to deliver that club at the same time you would deliver a bat. Now, that is what I believe is a golf swing at a different plane. And you can get in some bad habits that cross over, and that's why a lot of managers won't let position players play in season. But I just think it's more to do about the athleticism of Tiger, whether it's shooting a basketball or it's playing ping pong. His hand-eye coordination is really good. And if there was ever a competition between golfers putting a ball in play off of a big leaguer, I would choose him over most, because of his ability just to time and be athletic. And that's what he is. He's one of the most athletic golfers of all time.
That's awesome. On the golf course, any stories with Tiger that come to mind that are able to be told on here?
Yeah, we had so many great memories and so many great times where, I've told people, anyone that came with me, don't rile him up because he's kind of going through the motions. Don't get him in that tournament mode. Don't try to challenge Tiger Woods. And there was one particular round that we had. We had a five-some. I had a buddy of mine who flew me down to play with Tiger. Another buddy of mine. So the total, my one buddy was 11, the other was a scratch, and we had three scratch and a Tiger and an 11 a handicap. And on a par three, the scorecard read 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we had all five scores, different scores, and a hole in one by my buddy, who Scott, made a hole in one with Tiger Woods. And I picked the ball out of the hole. And I said, what's more believable, Scott, when we get back home, the fact that you made a hole in one or beat Tiger by 4 on one hole? Believe it or not, Tiger got the 5 on a par 3. I got a 4, and then the other two got a 3, 2, and a 1. Well, he proceeded to give me a signal with his finger, and he let me know that it was on, and he went 12 under in the next 21 holes. And that's the kind of player that Tiger Woods is. When you motivate him in any way or shape or fashion, he goes to the next level. It was the most unbelievable round of golf I've ever seen after I made that, comment about beating him by 4.
That's incredible. Speaking of hole-in-ones with Tiger Woods, my brother doesn't have one, and he's a great golfer, and he doesn't have a hole-in-one yet, but he's playing with Tiger Woods about 2 years ago, and they're at, I believe it was at MJ's course, and they're out there, and Justin hits this ball, and it was during the height of COVID. Justin hits a ball. It's kind of a lower green. You can't quite see everything perfectly, but it's him and Tiger, and you see the ball land, it comes back, and it disappears. So Justin and Tiger Woods are celebrating his first ever hole-in-one on the tee box together. Tiger chucked his club. They were having a blast. They walked down there, and it was sitting like half an inch outside of the hole. And Justin and Tiger both believed that it hit the foam, I think, was still in the cup. So they believed that it hit the foam and bounced out. But Justin's like, I can't count it. I just can't count it. But that would have just been the coolest thing of all time.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If you love flipping bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.